A couple of nights ago, I was watching that show on Netflix that's all about chefs and their passion for pizza. I remember really craving for something Italian. Well, it seems my prayers have been answered. Hey guys, it's Vince here of AutoIndustriya, and we're here with the Maserati Levante Hybrid. Now, the Levante itself is not new. It's been in the Philippines since around 2017 or 18, I think. I remember driving one in actually this kind of color as well. Different wheels, different engine, but still the generation is the same. But what we have here is the hybrid version. Now, the hybrid is something actually very new to Maserati. This, I think, is their only their second hybrid. The first one was the Ghibli, which I also reviewed, but not on video. But this one pretty much shares a lot with that one. But the vehicle itself, in terms of looks, well, not really much has changed. Actually, it's very minor, the facelift that Maserati did for this model. I mean, it still looks pretty much the same. They did change a few pieces, like some of the trimmings in front, but mostly it's with the logo and the use of blue here, and these very, very nice wheels that complement the look very well. Much of what makes it different is really under the hood, but don't worry, we'll get to that. Let's go to the back. Now, many are wondering why these European sports car and GT manufacturers are getting into SUVs, and the answer is simple. That's where the money is. Because if you look at the portfolio of many automakers now, the bulk is really going towards the SUVs. And when you look at the Levante, you can see why they all get into it. It's bigger, it's taller, meaning more ground clearance. It's also more spacious. I mean, when you look at the trunk of the Levante, definitely more spacious. One thing that's interesting to point out here, though, is that when you look under this floorboard, there's actually no spare tire. When you lift this up, well, you don't see much. There is no spare tire, just the vanity plates, compressor. That's why you have the tire repair kit there, screwdriver, tow bar, nothing else. Well, apart from this one. See that huge Harman Kardon subwoofer there? That's pretty neat. That is actually not part of the hybrid system. It's just a subwoofer. Because Maserati, well, they like to focus on the sound and the experience. That's something they were really keeping with the Levante Hybrid. The audio system is going to be really good, and the sound of the exhaust and the engine is going to be really good. But one thing I want to point out though, see these tailpipe finishers? It's mounted to the bumper and not to the actual exhaust. Kind of weird. The powertrain of the Levante is centered around a 2-liter gasoline direct injection engine and the 48-volt BSG. That is the hybrid system for this engine. Together, it makes 330 horsepower and 450 Newton meters of torque. It's bolted onto a ZF 8-speed automatic, and it's driving all 4 wheels. You can't get a Levante in 4x2, I think, anywhere in the world. We'll double check that. But a couple of the interesting bits here. For one, for a hybrid, you don't see any orange wiring or orange tubing. That is very strange. A lot of the hybrids I know have that. Instead, what you have is a harness over there, which they've kind of marked like you would DIY install your audio system harness into your car back in the 90s. Yes, I know I did. Also, there's no battery here in front, but there are actually terminals over there, so you can jump start your vehicle if you ever need to. Hopefully not. But what I'm really digging here though is the front, because if you look between the grille, you'll see kind of Venetian blinds, the active grille shutter kind of thing. It closes up for aerodynamics, but right now, even when the engine is off, it's also closed, and then it opens up when it warms up. The other thing, the radiator. Normally, many cars, they have the radiator straight down, perpendicular to the ground. This one, no. It's kind of slanted, like a sports car. Does it drive like one? Well, we'll find out after we check out the interior. The moment you sit inside the Levante, it feels cozy, and I actually kind of like it. I mean, I like the way the the cabin wraps around the driver and everything is within easy reach. I think it's very intuitive that way. But it's also very premium, and not in a very old world premium kind of way. There's no wood paneling here. It's all piano black, some silver, some chrome, but it all looks really good. The steering wheel is actually a bit big for my liking. I mean, it's a bit big. Could have made it smaller, maybe had a flat bottom, but it does feel nice to hold. Has buttons for the cruise control here, which by the way is the regular kind of cruise control, not the adaptive kind. Some buttons here to control the multi-info display right over there. Sorry, I'm not in that. See, there you go. A digital instrument cluster with speedometer on the left, tachometer on the right. Very conventional. Your start button is over here, along with the lighting controls. The wiper stalk and the light controls are actually one stalk over here as well, which is kind of weird. I kept reaching for one over here, but I guess Maserati does it a different way. Speaking of which, there are also buttons right here. This is for the audio system. It's actually very FCA or Dodge even, because some of their models have this kind of arrangement, so you can control the volume and stuff right there. There you go, right there. Volume on the left, on the right, and then the next track on the left side. Power window buttons, mirror buttons there. What's interesting here though is what's going on here in the middle. Now, up top, we have the clock, the Maserati clock, very nice. There's also an AC diffuser here from the climate control system. You can turn that off if you don't like it. I mean, you can see the air coming through there. It's actually chilling this part here. Again, the screen here is very clear. However, I find it to be a bit small because, I mean, considering, you know, what class this vehicle is competing in, it's a bit constrained by the AC vents over here. Maybe they should have rearranged that to have these on top to give you more width there, but you know, that's probably something they're doing for the next generation of the vehicle. Climate control buttons here. There's actually quite a few buttons in the vehicle. I mean, here and then here. I kind of wish they reduced that, but we'll talk about that later. Now, the controls, there's a panel here which gives you a nice compartment there for all kinds of stuff, like your phone. The USB port, aux port, and even an SD card port is right down there. But I don't need a cable for my phone because this one has wireless Android Auto, which is kind of cool. So Waze on my phone via the Android Auto, which is nice. Now, shifter is here. The gear selector is here. PRND and then M, and then it has the plus, the shift up, like right here. Oh, right there. It's pull to shift up, push to shift down, the proper way. Thank you, Maserati. Now, you look at the buttons here. Traction control off, off-road mode, the ICE mode here, which is internal combustion engine, sport mode, and then sport suspension mode. We'll try to show you that later when we go out and drive it. But basically, this when you press certain features here, like the sport mode, it also helps lowering. When you toggle this switch right here, you can lower the vehicle down if you want to go faster, because it's more aerodynamic that way. You can actually also raise it up if you want to go off-road, which is cool, giving you extra ground clearance. Electronic parking brake, and then right here you also have 2 cup holders, and then a cigarette lighter. I haven't seen one of these in a while in a new car, which is kind of good. Also, the key, like I have here, this is the Maserati key. It's very, very chunky. It's very heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if this is heavier than my phone. Now, inside here, well, one more cup holder. Actually, my phone is right here for the Android Auto there. It's got a cooler in here and 1 cup holder, which is neat. Also a 12-volt outlet and a few more things here in the back. You have 2 more USB ports in the back, along with an AC vent. And it's actually a nice place to be in, that back seat. But no time for that. Let's go out and drive it. so far, most of my time in the Levante Hybrid has been in the city, and that's actually okay because it's actually a very enjoyable vehicle to drive around the city. The suspension is all right. I mean, it's not the most comfortable around, but it's all right. The seats, they're actually okay, even though I wish they kind of changed the contour here on the back to make it even more plush. Also, the steering is nice and light. It's very nice. It's got all the features I need, including wireless Apple CarPlay, and which is why my phone is actually connected to the Waze is hooked up here, while my phone is right there on the passenger floor because it fell down when I braked. But nevertheless, I'm actually enjoying this as a city drive. Now, some of the things here is that this is being marketed as a hybrid, and I'm a bit hesitant to use that term for a vehicle like this because the hybrid system of the Maserati, like I would also experience with the Ghibli Hybrid, yes, I pronounced it right, Ghibli Hybrid, is about as mild as it gets. I mean, think about it this way. If you're used to taking, let's say, a teaspoon of sugar in your coffee, this one, the hybrid, this one, like, you basically cut it down by about 10%. You know, like 90% of a teaspoon, that kind of thing. It's kind of a baby step because it's a 48 volt BSG, not Battlestar Galactica, but belt starter generator. It's not like the hybrid you would get in, say, a Prius or any of the Toyota or Lexus hybrids. I mean, it seems kind of strange that we keep mentioning the Prius hybrids, the Toyota Synergy Drive, that kind of thing, because that really kind of is the standard by which a lot of hybrids are measured. Either it's more hybrid or less. So this one is about as mild as it can get. But it does give you the benefit of the start-stop system, particularly in traffic. It saves you fuel. It also gives you the benefit of the e-boost because while the hybrid is the BSG cannot drive the vehicle in a full EV mode like a Toyota or a Lexus hybrid, it does give you a boost, and that's kind of helpful in low RPMs. Now at higher RPMs, then the turbo kind of takes over because it has all the boost it needs to move your Maserati along. That said, when it comes to fuel economy, it's okay, but not really fantastic because this one was doing around 8.5 kilometers per liter in the city, which for a Maserati isn't bad, but again, could be better considering they're saying it's a hybrid. On the highway, it's around, I think I was getting around 12 and 12.8. I'll double check my numbers and show it on the screen. But overall, I mean, it's an enjoyable vehicle to drive. And it is kind of a shame that I'm in the city and stuck in a lot of traffic. But when it comes to handling anyway, this is a really enjoyable vehicle. I mean, I've already driven several versions of the Maserati Levante before. The 3-liter diesel, I really enjoyed that one. And I think it was also in the same shade of blue as this one, which is nice. But once you start messing around with some of the buttons here, like the sport mode, the throttle response and the transmission response as well improves with the vehicle because it lunges a bit more than normal. But most of the time I just have it in normal mode. I can also activate the sport suspension mode, which kind of makes the car stiffer and lowers it a bit. To sum up the Levante Hybrid, it's really a baby step, but it's a step in the right direction nonetheless, because while the hybrid system is very mild, it is still a step in the right direction. And Maserati exploring these technologies, it took a while because it's not really their thing. It's not really in their DNA to go for a hybrid system. So for them to explore it and try it out and market it, I think it's a good thing. When it comes to reviews, I don't really like going into what, because that's what brochures are for. I prefer to go into the why. I like to explore the decisions made that make up a vehicle as to what it's trying to be or who it's trying to be for. Now, the Levante is a very interesting one to explore because who is this trying to appeal to? I mean, why also did they go for a very mild hybrid system? Personally, I think Maserati was being very conservative. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. They don't want to dilute the character of why people go to Maserati in the first place. But I think they could have done a bit more. But it is a baby step, and it is in the right direction, and that's what counts. However, what is not a baby is the price of the Levante Hybrid. This one starts at 8.8 million. Wow. Now, if you've seen some of the other reviews I've done, well, like the BMW iX, that one was like 6.3. Of course, it will go up, but 8.8 is quite a big ask for a Levante, handsome and as enjoyable as the car may be. Hopefully, in the future, they can address these pricing issues. But for now, well, I'm not surprised if we don't see too many of this on our roads. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya.com. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok.